Everyone else comes late, so they, that's a different story. And Linda, we have a different story going, but just remember and remind me you have a 20-minute credit, otherwise I'll feel bad.
All right.
Oh,
I'll take you out for lunch one day for 20 minutes. We'll go out for a coffee break.
There here, you come on
oh,
time and the class starts 20 minutes late, and we'll finish on time because I'll try to go maybe a little bit later. Okay, so let's start with the meditation. So close your eyes. And I want to draw from this past week's Parsha to give us an experience of coming towards ourselves, coming into an encounter where we can access our deepest truth, our soul, a yachidus with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, a communion with the deepest part of our own beings. And I want to use the setup of the Mishkan as our guide. So I want you to imagine that you are being in your regular life, and you decide that you want to connect as you did by coming to class. And I want you to imagine yourself that you're walking towards the Mishkan, the way that we know that it was constructed. We know that it was a big area, like an enclosed space that had a gate outside. Some kind of a gate. Actually, it was a curtain, could call it a veil. And in order to have this special experience, you have to leave your laundry, your sweeping, your carpooling. In the desert, maybe they were collecting their manna, eating, whatever they were doing. And imagine that you are like a Kohen, and because it's special times, you've been given all the privileges of a Kohen Gadol. So you put down what you're doing and you walk towards the Mishkan, and you walk into the courtyard, the Chatzer of this Mishkan, and just coming into the space compared to coming into the yoga studio. Just coming into the space, you're already in Lahavdil, but sacred space. Lahavdil for the studio, but still sacred space. And one of the things that you see right away is a huge ramp going up to the Mizbeach, the copper Mizbeach, Nechoshech. And on it is a fire that's always burning. And you know that if you want to go further in your journey, you have to walk up this ramp and basically encounter this big outer altar that's used for animal sacrifice. And now you have to do some work. You have to offload onto that altar, into that fire, all your animalistic tendencies. Not the tendencies that make you better, but the ones that you've maybe been demonstrating for your survival. And you can know what they are if you imagine an animal that's afraid. Maybe it's hissing, maybe it's growling, maybe it's barking. If you imagine an animal that's going to have its food taken away, or its babies attacked, or itself attacked, it's going to be aggressive. It's going to be biting, chasing. Try to identify in yourself aspects of your animal self that aren't really in sync with your higher self. Fear, jealousy, anything that's the opposite of love, tolerance, and acceptance of yourself or others. You got to offload onto that altar. Offload it and throw it into the fire. As if you're emptying your pockets, a little bit of jealousy out, a little bit of selfishness, meanness, sarcasm, protective, defending, meanness. Put it all out onto that fire. And then you're going to come away from that experience and you're going to wash off any residue that you have from all those survival behaviors by washing your hands with water from the kinor and washing your feet, because it's not just what your hands were involved with, it's what you ran towards or ran away from that you have to cleanse and distance from what you left behind there on the altar. But you have a special little golden pan and you take a coal from that altar with you when you move forward. Maybe it's a ticket that you really threw your stuff in the fire. And then you want to move forward. So you move forward and you go through, and now you're going to enter the covered tent, so to speak, the actual covered, almost looks like a loaf, big loaf of bread, oblong, covered, but it has curtaining in the front. And you want to have your spiritual experience, you want to connect to your inner self. So you part the curtain and you're moving in and you come into an area called the Kodesh, the holy. And in this area, there's a huge menorah, a table full of breads, and an altar of copper upon which is crushed incense. And when you look at this table that's covered with breads, connect to the fact that all your physical needs have been taken care of and are provided for you by Hashem. And maybe looking at those breads that are upon the shulchan, maybe your eyes get open to the fact that whatever your physical needs are, how big your house is, how many children you have, how much money in the bank account, it's all from God. You're in the Kodesh and looking at that bread and smelling them and seeing how warm they are. And not sure if the Kohanim ate the bread, but whatever your interaction is with that bread, you realize that all your physical needs are exactly the way they've been provided for you for your best good and your maximum growth and experience of life in this world. And so there's a ease that comes over you. My physical needs have been taken care of in the best possible way. And then you look at the menorah, and the light in the menorah awakens in you your own connection to your own light. Looking at that menorah, you appreciate, you know, I'm special. I have lights. Maybe it lights you up, it inspires you, it reminds you of how amazing you really are. A Cheilik Elokei, mimal mamish, a piece of God above. And you look at this menorah and you feel somehow more expansive, lit up. But there's still parts of you that you're not so sure of. You understand that you can be lit up, but you're still carrying some baggage, let's say. And you remember that you have that burning coal from the outside, from the copper mizbeach, and you walk over to the golden Mizbeach and you take your little pan and you take a scoop of that incense and you put it on your little golden pan. It's almost like a little mini dustpan. And you add the coal from the outer Mizbeach and suddenly the incense starts to ignite. And you smell a multitude of smells. In fact, there's 11 smells that have been very carefully collated. And you're kind of enjoying the smell, but one of the smells is just really getting on your nerves. It's kind of a mixture of putrid, moldy. Somehow it's disgusting in some way. And you want to feel angry at first. Why is this smell here? I want to have such a positive experience and I have this bad smell. And then you realize that the smell is actually connecting you and teaching you to accept all the parts of yourself, all the yucky parts, all the smelly parts. And not just the yucky parts in yourself, but the yucky parts or the smelly parts in others. And when you connect to this idea, you kind of drop a lot more baggage. And carrying this little mini dustpan of smoking incense, you're ready now to walk deeper into this experience, and you go up to the next veil, curtain, separation, and you push it aside. And now you're in the Kodesh Kadoshim, the inner sanctum of your own being, the inner sanctum of your own presence, and the presence with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, presence with coming into oneness with all things. And you're carrying this incense, and the incense goes up in a smoke, in a line, like a column. It goes up, it hits the roof of the Kodesh HaKadoshim, and it spreads out to the sides and down the sides of this Kodesh Kadoshim. And the name of that smoke is Ashan, which I've taught many times. Olam Shana Makom. You in this place. Where are you? Actually, wherever you are. When is this moment? It's always right now. Who are you? You are you. Exactly the way Hashem created you. You're perfect for this encounter in this place at this time. And your encounter is with the creator of the world, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, King of the world, creator of the world. And ironically, it's an encounter with your own deepest, truest, most authentic self. No room for falsehood, no room for lying, no room for pretending, no room for play acting, just you, your raw, authentic self. And you're standing in front of the Aron, the box with the luchot in it, not just one set of luchot, but the broken ones and the complete ones. In that Aron, your heart space, all the broken luchot, all the mistakes, all the plan A's, all the should haves, supposed to be's, what ifs, they're all there. The broken plans, the deaths, maybe the miscarriages, who knows what, the broken tablets, all the maybe it could have been. But there's also the other set of tablets, the tablets for imperfect people, people who make mistakes, people who live with limitations, people who weren't always zoche for the full set right away. And there's the second set of tablets. As my friend says, plan B is the real plan. And you have that in your heart, that awareness that the brokenness only made what came next better, stronger, more resilient, more open, more aware, more wise, more evolved, more compassionate, more open-hearted. And you're standing in front of the Aron, and on top of the lid of the Aron are the two Cherubim, the two cherubs with their wings covering their head, creating an open space of the bodies on the side of the Aron, the box of gold containing the luchot and a scroll that Moshe wrote, and the bodies of the angels on the side and the wings covering. So there's big empty space on top of the Aron. And it's from this empty space that God spoke or speaks to you. So I want to invite you into that open space to listen to that space, to listen to the voice of God speaking to you from that space. Maybe you have a question. You can ask your question and await an answer. Or maybe you don't have a question, you just want to sit in front or be in front of the space and listen to whatever communication is going to be communicated to you, a message from your deepest self, a message from the Eibishter, a message from God, a message from a parent that's departed, a message from your inner child, a message from a Rebbe, a message from a teacher. I've learned from the most holy rabbis and teachers that when you're davening and you get a thought or an idea, you can consider that Ruach HaKodesh. So whoever is meaningful to you to receive information to, or to just wait and see what comes through. You're sitting in this zone of Kodesh Kadoshim, and you're in front of the Aron, and you're present to hear the communication from the space between the two Cherubim. You want to relax your shoulders. You want to make sure that you're taking nice deep breaths. And we're just being in the space, smelling and experiencing the Ashan, the right now, right here. Here's myself in this holy space. It's very scary to actually come into this space. Parts of us might want to run. And then you remember that the Kohanim didn't always make it out. if they weren't real and authentic, they didn't make it. So it's scary. Take some breaths and just reassure yourself that you're doing holy work just to be this real to yourself. And we're going to stay here just for another few moments. But in a way, this is the place that we do all our work to get to come face to face with our inner self, listening with the deepest parts of us to the voice of Hashem speaking from within our holy Aron, from within the Kodesh Kadoshim of our own being. We're going to start to back out of this place after thanking yourself for allowing yourself to get naked and bearing yourself in this way. And forgiving yourself if it's hard for you to do it and you could do it better next time. And we start walking, maybe still facing the Aron. We start backing away out of the Kodesh Kadoshim, through the curtain, back into the Kodesh, seeing the menorah, now realizing that we have the lights of all those candles burning within us. And we can shine those lights out through our eyes, our ears, our nostrils, the words we speak. Appreciating the mixture of the incense, how it encompasses all the different types, all the different aspects of self, even the ones that are foul smelling. Past the shulchan, knowing that our needs are taken care of in the best possible way. Backing out again of the Kodesh, past the washing station, where we washed off our hands and feet. Past the Mizbeach, where we previously offloaded all of our animal limitations, animalistic aspects. And then walking back through the Chatzer, through the outside curtain, back to where we were before, in our tents, in our homes, in our life as we are, back into the space, back onto your mat, back into the studio, back to where you're sitting in your place, right here, right now. When you're ready, you can open up your eyes.